all ready to rock this mess with Blair Davenport and Carmella. Those skanks ain't getting their nasty caution hands on our titles.
That's what I want to hear. You know what else I heard? Everybody's looking over their shoulder, like Luna's gonna jump out from behind a corner and eat them up alive.
Girl, don't laugh them crazy Essos off. Crazy wench could pull some Midnight Rider bullshit and show up under a mask. It's not fiction, Genie.
It's whatever for right now, Jack. We gotta focus on the future endeavor. But you and Mimi, y'all already know the score. You see Luna, or anything that even looks like Luna, don't wait to see what's up. Just go ham on Avish. See y'all before the match.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, fans and friends, welcome back to the second half of tonight's Rwl Rage in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Don Hickson, here along with Christy Ogilvie and Myron Schimmelman. A terrific lineup, 5 great matches on tap for the second half this evening, including the main event involving Macho Man Randy Savage locking it up with the total package Lex Luger. That ain't all. We got a great lineup. The Rage Ladies tag titles are on the line. Les Femmes Fatales, Jet Williams and Mimi Emerson, defending the titles against Carmella and Blair Davenport of the Future Endeavor. How do you like them apples? Not just that, Rod the Bod Whitley facing Josef von Schmidt, and the Texas Hangmen are in action tonight, going up against Pretty Deadly. That's going to be interesting. Hangman Tex Lynch going to be at ringside with Killer and Psycho for that one.
And seriously quick, before the next match starts the second half, a quick update on what's ahead on the RWL YouTube channel. Thursday night, October 9th, happy birthday, John Lennon. October 9th is going to be a 2-hour special card as RWL Wrestling comes back to the Spectrum. Then, Saturday, October 11th, it's Snarl with Wally, Gianni, and Tex Lynch with more great pro wrestling action. So subscribe. Hit all notifications and your ringside seat will always be waiting. All right, boys, it's time to fire up the second half. And El Segundo Partai begins with newcomer Mark Coffey facing Ken Kennedy in Mr. Coffey's debut match.
Mr. Coffee. Where's Joe DiMaggio?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Our next match is scheduled for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Coming down the aisle, making his RWL debut tonight, from Glasgow, Scotland, and weighing in at 235 pounds, please welcome Mark Coffey.
The newest competitor on the block here in RWL, Mark Coffey. Well, Myron, what's the background on this gentleman? That's easy. He doesn't come alone. He's got a brother, Joe Coffey, not to be confused with Publicity Joe Coffey, the late NYPD detective, rest in peace. But yeah, Joe and Mark Coffey, they're new to the scene, and they'll probably be doing some tag team action in the future. But right now, it's a one-on-one with him and Ken Kennedy. It's gonna be good. Mark Coffey, he's an experienced guy. He's no slouch. He's got that NXT thing under his belt.
And his opponent joined by manager Matthew James Ferrantino from Green Bay, Wisconsin, weighing 237 pounds, Mr. Kennedy.
And here comes another fella who cannot be characterized as a slouch, Mr. Kennedy. Ken Kennedy, accompanied by Matthew James Ferrantino, the other MJF in pro wrestling. The Whiz Kid, the mathematician, the manager of the future. Or so he bills himself, but what a stable he has. It's more the size of a football team than a wrestling stable.
Dawn, he's lit up. His football team of stable is down a pair of first-string stars. With Patty Powers and Liberty Bell Danielle sidelined by Luna Vachon, Bro has been quietly fuming ever since. Won't speak to any of us on the broadcast team. Just released a public statement saying Ferrantino's taking care of all of their doctor bills and denouncing Luna as a danger to herself and others. He's flat out petitioned Colin O'Toole to have Luna straight up fired. He's too quiet, guys. He kinda reminds me of Michael Corleone in the worst possible ways.
Well, that is an interesting analogy, Christy, but I think we're about to hear from Mr. MJ Ferrantino right now. His body language says it all. He's not his usual chipper self.
Thanks to that wingnut Vachon, I'm looking after Paddy Powers and Danielle Heathcote, instead of them doing what they love. Well, I see now how it is, how you people play this game. Well, fair warning, people. Primetime Bobby Mills will be back from injury real soon. I suggest you ask him if me or mine should be screwed with. Now watch Ken Kennedy take this coffee guy to school.
I'm no student of sociology, Don, but that sounded like a veiled threat. Whoa, MJ Ferrantino certainly has the resources to make stuff happen, as he indicated regarding primetime Bobby Mills. Well, here we go. The bell sounds. Ken Kennedy opens up with a series of shots and kicks, taking Mark Coffey down to the canvas. Mark Coffey laid out center ring as Ken Kennedy goes topside. Boom! Elbow right across the throat. Here's a quick cover, one. Just a one, says the referee, Willie Johnson. Keeping an eye on Ken Kennedy here. Here's a stomp to Mark Coffey. A double X handle across the back. Mark Coffey not offering a great deal of offense here in the early goings. Ken Kennedy firmly in control of things as he snaps on a heel hook stretch on Mark Coffey. MJ Ferrantino certainly sounding like he means business, and as I pointed out, he's got the resources behind him. He's got a roster the size of a football team, and apparently no salary cap either. A clothesline from Mark Coffey, who finally woke up here. Ken Kennedy catches an elbow to the top of the head. Ken Kennedy yanked halfway across the ring by his ankle, and Mark Coffey has certainly stepped things up here. Ken Kennedy on the canvas. Look at this, Mark Coffey displaying supreme confidence as this match progresses. Ken Kennedy locked up by Mark Coffey, hard whip to the ropes, and look at this, a beautiful tilt-a-whirl sort of slam right there from Mark Coffey. A very impressive move, a hard forearm across the face of Ken Kennedy. Kennedy has him up over the shoulder. Mark Coffey in trouble here, head first into the turnbuckle, and down into the seat sinks Mark Coffey. Ken Kennedy choking Mark Coffey blatantly, and now backing off as if to say, hey, I had 5 seconds. Mark Coffey rolls to the outside. Ken Kennedy over the top rope, cross body to Mark Coffey. Ken Kennedy turning it right back around here. MJ Ferrantino enjoying what he's seeing up to this point. Mark Coffey center ring, just recovering. Ken Kennedy rolls back inside the ring, a chop across the chest, and here we go. Mark Coffey and Mr. Kennedy trading shots back and forth here. A serious game of nerves and an extremely brutal physical challenge. Ken Kennedy settles the argument with a kick to the midsection and a double axe handle across the back of Mark Coffey. Ken Kennedy getting ready to go air again. Mark Coffey slowly standing to a position here. Boom! Whoa! Flying forearm. Here's the cover and a hook of the leg. 1, 2. But again, Mark Coffey getting the right shoulder up in time as Ken Kennedy begins to lose patience and decorum, stomping the hands and fingers of Mark Coffey. Ken Kennedy catches a kick to the head from Mark Coffey. Coffey locks him up, goes behind on him. Look at this. Beautifully executed one-arm slam, and whoa, a knee right to the head of Ken Kennedy. Mark Coffey has him up in a front cradle, takes him up over the shoulder, and hangs him up the top rope. Misses with the knee. Mark Coffey made a mistake there. Coffey whipped to the ropes. Ken Kennedy ducks under. Ducks under a second time, and boom, a forearm right across the face of Mark Coffey, who appears to be momentarily stunned. Ken Kennedy drags him center ring, but he's still moving. There's a stomp to the shoulder from Mr. Kennedy. Mark Coffey, look at this, avoids the wheelbarrow move there, delivers a knee to the head of Ken Kennedy. Mark Coffey rounds him up into a bear hug. Mark Coffey already bleeding profusely. Ken Kennedy with a double ear clap and a jumping neckbreaker from Mark Coffey. Ken Kennedy indicating to the fans, wait a minute now. What's this? Someone else possibly coming down the ringside here. Ken Kennedy momentarily distracted. Mark Coffey tags him a shot across the back of the head. Rebounds off the ropes and tags Kennedy with an elbow. Here's another cover. 1, 2. Another near fall with just a 1. Says referee Willie Johnson. Mark Coffey gets a hold of Ken Kennedy, escorts him to the far left corner, head first into the turnbuckle. Kennedy gathered up into a scoop slam as Mark Coffey sets himself up on the middle rope. Ken Kennedy stands up, and here we go. Whoa! Flying shoulder, dropping Mr. Kennedy center ring. And a snap of the leg. A pretty solid follow-up from Mark Coffey as Ken Kennedy rolls to the outside. Mark Coffey with a couple of shots right away. Referee already up to 2 here. Ken Kennedy slams Mark Coffey's head into the lip of the apron. Follows that up with a stomp to the back of the head. Ken Kennedy gets a hold of Mark Coffey. Has him up and again slams his head into the lip of the apron, allowing gravity to do all the work. A set of hard rights, a left, and an uppercut takes Mark Coffey down to the floor. Ken Kennedy playing it up to the fans here in Allentown. Ken Kennedy finally rolls Mark Coffey back inside the ring. Ken Kennedy takes himself up to the top turnbuckle one more time. Big time crossbody. Here's a cover, a pin, a hook of the leg, everything. 1, 2, 3. That is gonna do it. Ken Kennedy defeats Mark Coffey by pinfall.
Here's the time, 6 minutes and 34 seconds. And your winner, Mr. Kennedy.
All right, there you have it. Ken Kennedy gets the Duke over Mark Coffey. Ladies and gentlemen, a whole lot more RWL Rage when we continue right after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue tonight, the RWL Rage Women's Tag Team Championships on the line. Jet Williams and Mimi Emerson, Les Femmes Fatales, defending the titles against the future Endeavor's Carmella and Blair Davenport. And they've been gone long enough that it's almost nice to see them. All right, Myra. The future Endeavor this evening in the form of Blair Davenport and Carmella. Dakota Kai and Gigi Dolan still pretty much out of sight since the Labor Day Slamathon War Games matchup with American Powers, Dione the Titaness, and Dynamite Jeannie Parker.
War Games matches always tend to be very rough on the participants. Well, Dakota and Gigi Dolan will be back soon. What can I say?
Gents, everybody that was in that War Games match caught some hell. And it takes a yard of guts to even want to be part of one. So I'm not going to dump on the future Endeavored for anything. Other than the fact that they go out of their way to hurt their opponents, and they're gonna bust their asses to win here. But Jet and Mimi aren't just the champions. They have proven that they're also hard to beat champions. You know, maybe if Dakota Kai was in this match instead of Blair Davenport, I'd say they had a better chance. This combination, I don't see them pulling a miraculous upset. And hey, I do love Jet and Mimi. And hey, they're backed by the sexy soul sister of the squared circle. You just can't go wrong with Les Femmes Fatales, y'all.
Oh, Christy, a glowing recommendation. With Dynamite, Jeannie Parker, and Les Femmes Fatales, champions all, of course, together, the ladies tag trio champions as well. It is going to be a pretty impressive matchup here, with Jet and Mimi defending the Rage ladies tag titles against the future endeavors Blair Davenport and Carmella. Wow, it is, well, this one just kind of goes above and beyond.
I gotta go along with Christy. I don't see Blair Davenport and Carmella pulling off an upset tonight either. Jet and Mimi have just been too hot lately.
There's a lot of ways it could go wrong for Jet and Mimi, sure. But those involve careless, unguarded moments or careless mistakes. And Les Femmes doesn't have a lot of either one of those. As a team, they got it all over the future endeavors. That's why they're tops in ladies tags. And that's why both Myron and I think Les Femmes are a safe bet to retain the titles.
This next match, one fall, with a 20-minute time limit, is for the RWL Rage Ladies Tag Team Championships. The challengers from Wellington, New Zealand, Blair Davenport, and from Staten Island, New York, Carmella, together representing the future endeavored. Their opponents accompanied to ringside by Women's World Champion Dynamite Jeannie Parker from Washington, D.C., Jet Williams, and from Raleigh, North Carolina, Goddess Mimi Emerson, the Rage Ladies Tag Team Champions, Les Femmes Fatales.
As Jet and Mimi turn the belts over to Willie Johnson, I'm getting the sense, I think I'm right. I think they're going to retain the titles tonight.
All right, it's going to be Blair Davenport and Jet Williams starting off in this Rage Ladies Tag Team title matchup. Referee Willie Johnson sounds the bell. Here we go. Blair Davenport misses with that swing. Jet Williams gets a grip on her. Whips her to the Femmes Fatale corner. She hangs up Mimi Emerson on the top rope. Catches a back suplex for her pains. Jet Williams immediately going to work on the lower extremities of Blair Davenport with a heel hook stretch. Davenport gathered up by Jet Williams. Jet whips her into the corner. Here comes Mimi Emerson on the tag. Here comes a double team from Les Femmes Fatales. Double drop kicks as Mimi Emerson takes over for her team. Mimi Emerson picking up right where Jet Williams left off, snapping the leg of Blair Davenport off the middle rope. A leg drop across the throat. Here is a quick cover right away. One, but only a one. But Mimi Emerson wasting no time at all. And here comes Jet Williams again. The unit functioning most efficiently. Jet Williams through the middle rope. Absolutely amazing. Turning herself into a human projectile, taking down Blair Davenport on the outside. The referee already counting, urging Jet Williams to get it back in the ring. She comes in over the top rope, leaving Blair Davenport and turning her attention to Carmella. Takes her down with a series of right hands. And Jet Williams restarts the count, comes back out after Blair Davenport rolls her back inside the ring. And here we go, order restored. Blair Davenport with a shot to the midsection on Jet Williams. Jet Williams goes all the way up, but quick mumbo jumbo, a counter. Go behind, a shot to the back of Blair Davenport, whipped into Les Femmes Fatales corner yet again. Blair Davenport counters, escapes the corner, gets a hold of Jet Williams' side suplex. And now it's Jet Williams on the canvas and in trouble as Blair Davenport starts to turn things around for her team. A series of stomps to the hands and fingers of Jet Williams as Blair Davenport makes her way out and turns it over to Carmella for the first time in the matchup. Carmella with an absolutely amazing, beautiful move right there. Taking Jet for a ride. Here comes Mimi Emerson on the tag. Mimi taking Carmella for a ride here. A low running drop kick for Carmella takes her down to the canvas. A knee to the head from Mimi Emerson. Again, the Rage Women's Tag Team titles on the line in this matchup. Dynamite Jeannie Parker watching her proteges very carefully. Here comes Jet Williams on the tag. Here comes another double team. Stereo kicks. Stereo super kicks. And away goes Blair Davenport as Jet Williams takes her out too over the top rope but misses with a high-risk maneuver as Carmella makes her pay. The referee urging Carmella to get it back in the ring. You can't win a title match on the outside. Jet Williams driven into the ring steps as Carmella turns her attention to Mimi Emerson, takes her out with a shoulder tackle. Blair Davenport moves in on Jet Williams. Likewise Carmella. Carmella rounded up by Jet Williams. Jet rolls Carmella into the ring. Blair Davenport still the legal woman in the matchup. No, Carmella is the legal woman in the matchup. My mistake, ladies and gentlemen. Blair Davenport pulls her back inside the ring. Carmella goes after Mimi Emerson yet again. Swing and a miss from Carmella. Jet Williams rounded up. Whip to the ropes. Hip toss from Carmella. Carmella steps out. Here comes Blair Davenport. Davenport locks up Jet Williams. Jet whip to the ropes. And open over into a back body drop from Blair Davenport. A kick to the back of Jet Williams. And Blair Davenport doing a little bit of showing off here for the fans in Allentown. Locks up Jet Williams. Jet Williams quick with the counter. Whips her into the corner. Down into the corner in a seated position. She goes. Jet Williams rebounds off the ropes. There's a face wash. And Blair Davenport is gone. Here's the cover. 1, 2, 3. That was going to do it. They Femme Fatale retaining the title.
Here's the time, 4 minutes and 58 seconds. Your winners and still, the Rage Ladies Tag Champions, Les Femmes Fatale.
Jet Williams and Mimi Emerson almost making it look easy, retaining the Rage Ladies Tag Team Championships over the Future Endeavor. And I mean, that is a pretty quick matchup, a pretty quick title defense. Ladies and gentlemen, as you see it here on the replay, Jet Williams, he rebounded off the ropes, and that face wash put the lights out for Blair Davenport, and that led to the 3-count pinfall. Ladies and gentlemen, more Rage action when we come back. Stay with us. Alright, coming up next, another first-time tag team encounter as Elton Prince and Kit Wilson, Pretty Deadly, get set to lock it up with Killer and Psycho, the Texas Hangman.
The next tag team match is scheduled for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing first, both from London, England, at a combined weight of 354 pounds, the team of Elton Prince and Kit Wilson, and together, they are Pretty Deadly.
Okay, it's my first time seeing them here, but I've caught Pretty Deadly in WWE. Interesting approach, but whatever. They wrestle really well, and, well, who cares if they dress like, well, sensitive bullfighters. Well, appearances aside, these two young cruiserweights are at a pretty big disadvantage in this match, with just one, Texas Hangman, weighing nearly as much as both members of Pretty Deadly put together. Myron, did you even tell those guys what the Texas Hangman looked like? Couldn't they tell from the name alone they wouldn't be facing like the Rougeau brothers or something? This is even meaner than the stuff you've done to the Toxic Table.
I didn't do nothing. They knew exactly what they were getting into. They knew what the Texas Hangmen looked like. They signed on the dotted line anyway. They've got a lot of faith in themselves. A whole lot of faith in themselves. A whole lot. Let's see how well placed that faith is.
Oh, I'm afraid I'm inclined to agree with you, too. As far as cruiserweights go, Pretty Deadly are pretty much second to none, but as far as the Texas Hangmen are concerned, this is a huge overmatch.
Their opponents, accompanied by Hangman Tex Lynch from the Lone Star State and at a combined weight of 621 pounds, Killer and Psycho, the Texas Hangman.
The Snarl general manager putting in a cameo appearance this evening ringside along with his creation, the Texas Hangman version 2, Killer and Psycho, back again. From their days in the AWA, it's a whole new set of guys, but it's the same principle. They are carrying on the mantle of the original Texas Hangman and not doing a bad job for themselves this evening. Well, looks like it might be an easy job for the Texas Hangman against Elton Prince and Kit Wilson of Pretty Deadly. I really do not care for their odds tonight. As first-time encounters go, this one promises to be a real gem. The referee sounds the bell. They come center ring. Elton Prince opens up with a series of shots on Killer. Spins him around with a right, goes behind on him, tags him with a shot to the back. And look at this. Into a sleeper. Oh, look at this. Stamp on the foot. And an elbow to the side of the head disengages Elton Prince. Killer tags in Psycho. And here comes a double team from the Texas Hangman. Oh, 3D to Elton Prince as Psycho takes over for the Texas Hangman. Off the middle rope, flying kick to the side of the head of Elton Prince. Here's a quick cover. One. But only a one, says referee Tom Kanamura. Drop kick misses the mark. Elton Prince goes behind on Psycho. A forearm takes him down to the canvas. Followed up with a kick to the back. Elton Prince stamping the hands and fingers of Psycho. Elton Prince steps out. Here comes Kit Wilson for the first time in the matchup. Wilson whips him to his team's corner. Psycho counters with an elbow. Goes behind. Kit Wilson catches a side suplex from Psycho. Psycho goes after Elton Prince, tags him with a right hand. Kit Wilson whipped to the Texas Hangman's corner. Psycho gonna take this one himself off the middle rope. Another flying kick to the side of the head for Kit Wilson. The Texas Hangman firmly in control of Pretty Deadly up to this point in the match. Psycho with a wrist clutch kick to the face to Kit Wilson. Kit Wilson gathers up. Psycho whips him to the Texas Hangman's corner. Here's a kick to the ribs. Up on the top turnbuckle goes Kit Wilson. There's a hard right hand. And a shove. And out to the floor goes Kit Wilson. Psycho going after Elton Prince. Elton Prince counters. Hangman Tex Lynch hanging back and watching it all. Kit Wilson back in the ring. Psycho showboating as Elton Prince comes in on the tag. Catches Psycho with a shot to the midsection and a snap of the arm. Goes behind. There's a clothesline to the back of the head of Psycho. Elton Prince showboating here, but here comes Killer on the tag. He locks up Elton Prince, has him up in a front cradle. Slams his back into the turnbuckle and throws him out towards center ring. Whoa! Look at this. Whoa. sat right on his chest. Rebound off the ropes, misses with the moonsault. Elton Prince stepping out of the way just in time. Killer shoves him back. Whoa! What a shot. Down goes Elton Prince. Killer gets a hold of Elton Prince, has him up. Oh! Oh, man, what a shot to the head. Killer showboating out here as here comes Kit Wilson. Wilson taking down Killer. A series of hard right hands to the side of the head of Killer. Killer whipped to the ropes. There's a forearm. Doesn't quite take him all the way down. Kit Wilson escorts Killer towards the ropes. A chop across the chest. Draped over the ropes, and he is playing tug-of-war with that leg. Killer in trouble here. Kit Wilson slams his head to the canvas. And Kit Wilson turning things around for Pretty Deadly, with the Texas Hangman on the receiving end of the business at this point. What a switch here. Kit Wilson gives Killer to his corner. Here comes Elton Prince again. A double team in the offing from Pretty Deadly. A whip to the ropes. There's a double elbow. Elton Prince charges clothesline. Takes Killer down. Here comes Psycho on the tag. And Elton Prince showboating. These two shouting at each other over the... Oh, well. There's a shove. There's a kick. There's a chop. There's a hard right hand from Psycho. Here's a cover. 1, 2. Nope, just a 1, says the referee. Psycho with a vicious forearm takes Elton Prince down to the canvas. Hangman Tex Lynch kicking back and enjoying the show here. The small general manager just hanging out at ringside watching the Texas Hangman work. Psycho whips Elton Prince into the corner. Here comes Killer. Double team coming up. Here we go. Whip to the ropes. And whoa! What a nasty suplex. A tandem suplex from the Texas Hangman. Elton Prince can't seem to take Killer down. Whip to the corner. A chop across the chest. Elton Prince goes to work on the arm of Killer. Elton Prince catches an elbow to the face from Killer. Killer gets a hold of him, has him all the way up. Look at this military press drop. And down he goes. Here's a cover. 1, 2, 3. This one's all over. Say goodnight to Elton Prince. The Texas Hangman win by pinfall.
Here's the time, 5 minutes and 56 seconds. And your winners, the Texas Hangman.
I'm not being sarcastic when I say this. I thought that Pretty Deadly might have actually gone on a little bit longer. But the Texas Hangman making pretty short work of Elton Prince and Kit Wilson in this one. Wow. Indeed, Myron, Killer, and Psycho going home after basically what amounts to half a day at work. What a performance against Pretty Deadly. There you see the finish for Elton Prince. He just had the wind knocked out of him. Ladies and gentlemen, we've still got more RWL Rage right after the break.
Every October for a decade it has come, rapidly infecting the blood of its victims, affecting the hearts and minds of those it touches, an all-consuming obsession to be part of a collective whole. This October, it returns again, as it has for 10 years. RWL Halloween Brawl starts October 27th right here on the RWL YouTube channel.
As Rage continues up next, it's double champion Rolf the Bod Whitley of the Southern Gentlemen set to lock it up with Faust Deutschenhammer, Josef von Schmidt in a non-title matchup.
The following non-title match is scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Coming down the aisle from Pembroke, North Carolina, weighing in at 265 pounds, he's an RWL double champion and one half of the reigning television tag team champions, Rod the God Whitley.
One half of the Southern Gentleman, Rod Whitley is determined to hang on to both his current titles. And while this match with Von Schmidt isn't for a belt, Rod's treating it like it is one. Because Das Deutsche Hammer has finally found his groove. And has started winning matches. No, yeah, naturally Whitley is a little concerned. But I don't think he's gonna let Von Schmidt slip past tonight.
Rod's just a little bit worried. He's not, like, overly worried. But let's face it, Von Schmidt's starting to win again. It's a cause for concern.
Especially with Rod Whitley being one half of the Legends TV Tag Champions and being the United States Champion as well.
And Von Schmidt starting to win again means every person who's holding a single championship except the Cruiserweight Champion Gary Galaxy is concerned.
His opponent from Dresden, Germany, weighing in at 270 pounds, Das Deutsche Hammer, Josef Von Schmidt.
The original German super soldier Josef Von Schmidt was collecting championships when Gunther was just a twinkle in his mama's eye.
He's been world champion and international champion more times than I'm able to count. And then, for some reason, throughout all of 2024, Josef Von Schmidt had a dry run, a terrible run of bad luck. But now it's starting to clear up again, and Von Schmidt's starting to pick up wins. So now everybody's looking, everybody's a little worried.
Also, a contributing factor to Josef Von Schmidt's dry spell was a loss of, I guess you could say, identity. Josef Von Schmidt looking to find himself again, and he certainly has, reverting to type as the German super soldier. And well, perhaps Josef Von Schmidt has found the key to regaining victory again.
I don't know that I hold with what Von Schmidt is doing, but if it helps him get wins, hey, whatever.
Well, after a very, very long dry spell, Josef Von Schmidt has begun to rack up wins again. Let's see how he does tonight against Rod Whitley. As referee Willie Johnson rings the bell, they come center, they lock it up, collar and elbow. Whitley with the upper hand right away. Whoa, what a neck breaker to Von Schmidt. Whitley with a leg drop across the throat of Das Deutsche Hammer. Josef Von Schmidt back up on his feet, whipped to the ropes by Whitley, a driving knee into the midsection. Whitley with a right, a left, and a chop, and up we go into a backbreaker for Josef Von Schmidt. Rod Whitley on the apron and showboating. Von Schmidt moves in on him, and whoa, a headbutt takes him right back down again. Rod Whitley goes air. Barely connects with a leg drop. Von Schmidt back up on his feet. A chop, a second, a right, and a drop kick to the knee. Takes Whitley down to the canvas. A driving knee across the chest from Josef Von Schmidt. A chop across the chest, a hard right, a kick to the midsection. Whitley locked up by Von Schmidt. Von Schmidt smashes his head into the turnbuckle, a chop across the chest in the far left corner, followed up with another. Rod Whitley up on the top turnbuckle. Von Schmidt just knocks him down with a hard right. Das Deutsche Hammer takes himself to the outside as the count is restarted by the official. Von Schmidt rolls Whitley back inside the ring, takes the long way back himself, comes back inside Whitley right there waiting for him, has him up over the shoulder in the fireman's carry, hangs him up off the top rope, down goes Josef von Schmidt. Von Schmidt rounded up. Whitley lines up the arm, delivers a kick to the front of the shoulder, and now Rod Whitley threatening to go air again on the top turnbuckle, changes his mind. Look at this. Quickly goes around Von Schmidt. As smooth as silk and connects with the double axe handle anyway. Clubbing overhand elbow right to the top of the skull. Von Schmidt back up to a standing position. Gets a hold of Whitley. Whips him to the ropes. Makes the duck under. Makes the leapfrog. Here comes Whitley and a textbook power slam from Josef von Schmidt. Here's the cover. One. But only one. Whitley powering out of the pin very easily. Rod Whitley escorted to the ropes by Josef von Schmidt. A quick counter from Whitley. And up over the shoulders again goes Josef von Schmidt towards the ropes and hung up on the top rope yet a second time by Rob the Bod Whitley. A couple of hard lifts and a side suplex to Josef von Schmidt. Rod Whitley not even going to wait. He's going to take himself outside. Von Schmidt waiting for him. Delivers a set of shots that takes Whitley down to the floor. Referee Willie Johnson already counting as Von Schmidt delivers a stomp to the lower abdomen of Rod Whitley. Whitley locked up, rolled back inside the ring by Von Schmidt. Deutschenhammer takes himself all the way topside here. Whitley on one knee. Here we go. Oh, missile dropkick takes Whitley down again. Josef von Schmidt firmly in control of the matchup here. Nice uppercut from Josef von Schmidt, followed up with a stomp to the midsection. Von Schmidt rounds Whitley up. He's flailing, but it's no use. Gut wrench suplex from Josef von Schmidt. Whitley on the outside. Von Schmidt inspecting the front row here. Apparently no concern for Whitley as Von Schmidt gathers him up again. Drives him towards the barricades and makes his way back inside the ring. Josef von Schmidt making it look easy and making Rod Whitley look a little bit foolish here. Whitley back inside the ring. Von Schmidt right there waiting for him. Has him all the way up, slams him face first into the canvas. Rod Whitley gathered up by Von Schmidt again. A couple of hard chops, a kick, and a spin kick. A deceptive spin kick that took Whitley down. Now both men on the outside again. Whitley has him up. Whoa! Inverted suplex from Rob the Bod Whitley. Von Schmidt drives him into the barricade. Gathers him back up. Snaps the arm on Rod Whitley. Whitley in big trouble on the outside as Von Schmidt stamps the hands and fingers on Rob the Bod Whitley. Whitley being led back to the ring, rolled back inside by Josef von Schmidt, who follows him in. Finally some order restored here in this matchup. An elbow to the leg of Rod Whitley from Von Schmidt. Thus Deutschenhammer takes himself topside, boom! Drives a knee into the chest of Rod Whitley. This could be it. 1, 2. But no! Somehow, Rod Whitley, whether muscle memory or whatever, got out of the pin. Von Schmidt has him up in the front cradle, has him up over the shoulder, hangs him up on the top rope in retaliation. Whoa, what a chop! Right across the chest of Rod Whitley. And Josef von Schmidt looking indomitable at this particular point in the matchup. Whitley on the outside with the referee counting. Whitley takes himself back in. Von Schmidt fails to connect with the shoulder thrust. Gets a hold of Whitley anyway. And Whitley countering the suplex in pretty spectacular fashion. Up over the shoulders goes Von Schmidt, slammed face down into a reverse dominator by Rod Whitley. Whitley whips Von Schmidt to the ropes, wraps him up, and boom! Spinning neckbreaker. Whitley quickly covers here. 1, 2. Again, another near fall as Von Schmidt refusing to give up here. A hard right spins Von Schmidt around. Von Schmidt sneaks around the back door, goes behind on Whitley, tags him with a couple of hard right hands, and a clothesline. Whoa, man, Whitley's all messed up. Here's a cover. 1, 2, 3. This one is all over. Joseph Von Schmidt picking up the pinfall win over Rob the Bod Whitley.
The time was 7 minutes and 12 seconds. Your winner, Joseph Von Schmidt.
Das Deutschenhammer, looking like almost he can't believe it himself, a big-time win over Rob the Bod Whitley in this non-title matchup, and that opens the door for more future matchups, eventually leading to a title match for the German Super Soldier. Where will it lead? Well, there's Matt Clark, there's Rod Whitley, and the Mexican Monolith Warlord Santos, all of them eligible opponents for Joseph Von Schmidt. We'll return with our main event featuring Macho Man Randy Savage right after the break. Alright fans, we come to our main event, and what a main event it is going to be. Macho Man Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth ringside, set to lock it up against the total package, Lex Luger.
Macho Man, Randy Savage.
You know, you two, I never thought I would live to see the day when I would see Macho Man Randy Savage coming down the aisle and it would put a smile on my face. He's got Elizabeth back, he's left behind welfare Popeye, and he's going to be a champion someday. You just wait and see if I'm not right.
Randy Savage certainly on pace to become a contender for some Legends Division Championship in the future, and I'm sure Macho Man Randy Savage will make it there at some point. Will he win? That's another question for another day. But right now, tonight, it's all about Lex Luger and this particular matchup, and Randy Savage has arrived primed and ready.
His opponent, representing the Heenan family, from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing in at 275 pounds, the total package, Lex Luger.
Lex here. We've been seeing him in tag matches with Mr. Perfect. But this one tonight, the total package is out here on his own hook, looking for a win over a very hot Randy Savage. While it's not impossible for Luger to pick up the win, even without Bobby Heenan's assistance, I don't see it happening for him tonight. Macho Man has way too much momentum going into this one.
That's absolutely true. Lex Luger definitely could win. He could beat Macho Man, but I don't think he's going to.
Well, it seems, Myron, we are all in consensus on this one. While we respect Lex Luger and his abilities, I don't see him defeating Macho Man Randy Savage tonight in this main event.
I wouldn't worry. I think Lex Luger has enough faith in himself for all of us. He sure looks like he's going to win over Macho Man Randy Savage, but, oh boy, here we go with the showing off thing. Okay, great. You work out. Fantastic. Can we move on now to the match, please?
Hey, come on. It's not like he's hard on the eyes for me, Myron. I guess this show just ate for you.
Damn right it's not. I hate bodybuilding competitions.
All right, you two. Well, it is going to be a spectacular main event. Lex Luger in peak physical condition, going up against Macho Man Randy Savage. And what a main event it is going to be.
The time, 8 minutes and 1 second. Your winner, Macho Man, Randy Savage.